Is there anything better than working on your thrift flips on a beautiful morning? Thanks guys for joining me. It is Sonia Miller with Junk Monkey Paint Company, and today I'm going to show you how I paint fabric, because yes, sometimes when we're out there junking and thrifting, we find pieces that have fabric on them and we really don't want to rip it all off and have to reupholster it. Rather, it is clean and we can go ahead and repaint it. So the color I'm choosing to use today is called Midnight Blue. It's from our Junk Monkey paint line, and my recipe for painting fabric is going half with room temperature water and half of your Junk Monkey paint. You can go even more fluid than that, but definitely at least have it half-half to start with and then adjust from there if you see fit. Move your brush in circles as you apply it across your fabric. The goal is to be able to apply the paint like a stain to the fabric, and that way the end result is that we don't have a super stiff fabric on our hands. At this point, I'm grabbing another one of my Junk Monkey paint colors. It's called Grayish Anatomy. I have to let that first layer of painted fabric dry. I like to give it one day. So when I'm working on painted fabric projects, I will do my one buildup of my layer of color stain on top of the fabric, and I just let it air dry. I will work on other parts of the project, and then we'll come back tomorrow, which you'll see in a moment, and we'll continue working on the fabric part. I'm showing you here two options that you can use to keep your fabric loose in between the time that you're about to apply your second coat of paint to the fabric. So the first is that red scrubby brush. I have one that's clean. I just keep in my tool stash for projects like this. I'm not cleaning the floor with it. And then option number two is to grab a sand pad like I just showed you and to give it a buff all over and then dust it off and get ready for your second coat of paint. Now, how do I choose between my scrubby brush that has those hard bristles that I just kind of move it in circles and it gives some movement to my fabric, or the sand pad? It depends on the actual thickness of your fabric. So if your fabric is super thin, you might not want to go in with a sand block or a sand pad or sandpaper, right? You just might want to use that stiff bristled brush. But if your fabric is thick like mine, yes, you can go ahead and grab a sand block. Don't be too rough with it. You might want to use a fine or maybe a used sand block that doesn't have a ton of grit, because remember, when you're sanding your paint, don't sand your fabric and create a hole. I'm back with the sand block in my hands again. You can tell the sand block is my friend as a shabby, distressed, rustic painter. I love to distress my edges. I'm coming in now with Junk Monkey Glossy Poly. It provides a protective finish to your paint job, and I'm gonna brush all over what I've just painted and distressed. We're back at it again. It is the next day. Our second coat of our paint stain is on our fabric. It looks fabulous. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stencil. So I was looking through my stencil stash and I do love the feel of this stencil. So I'm gonna go ahead and make use of this one. Just kind of get it in place. And for this color I'm gonna use, it's a color called Grayish Anatomy. I have it right here ready. It is a gray beige color. And it matches, of course, the base that we have been working on. So this is a distressed wooden base, for this stool. So that is all ready to go. We just got to finish up this part. I'm going to use my Shabby chip brush because I'm going distress style with this, and I can manipulate the paint to make it look like the stencil is distressed when I use this brush. Now I'm taking a wax that I have. The color is Bronze Age. I'll link it below. There's all kinds of fun, colorful waxes that you can play with, but I'm choosing bronze because it leans towards brown and it's going over a color that's called Grey's Anatomy, and that has beigey colors. So the beige and the brown will just match up and meet really nicely. I'm also using a very bristly, just kind of scruffy brush to scruff it all over there for more of that antiqued rustic feel. I'm slowly building up my layers here of the Bronze Age wax, and you'll see in just a moment that I no longer just even keep it inside that stenciled area. What I do is I start to scruff it a little bit outside as well. That will just overall contribute to the aged feel of this piece. And how do you seal fabric? This right here is my favorite all-time way. So we have to just let it fully dry, do a couple coats, and you are good to go. I love the transformation of this piece. So happy with it. And at the end of the day, that's what's most important, is that you love it. So here it is inside my house. Yes, I am keeping it. I hope this video has inspired you. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys again very soon.